Ivy League presidents are scrambling to save their jobs after disgracing themselves for failing to call out anti-Semitism on their campuses. University of Pennsylvania President Liz McGill has been asked to resign by the board of Penn's Wharton Business School over her testimony. And for good reason. The school is losing out on a $100 million donation from a donor who was, quote, appalled by the university's stance on anti-Semitism. McGill has since tried to walk back her remarks. Harvard President Claudine Gay is also doing damage control, telling her school's paper, quote, I am sorry. Words matter. When words amplify distress and pain, I don't know how you could feel anything but regret. Even Kamala's husband is trashing them.
We've seen the presidents of some of our most elite universities literally unable to denounce calling for the genocide of Jews as anti-Semitic. That lack of moral clarity is simply unacceptable.
You know, Katie, I'll start with you. UPenn, and my daughter went there undergrad and went to the law school there. UPenn is set to lose $100 million from Ross Stevens, I understand, from Stone Ridge Management. Good for him. And now she's apologizing for her testimony. She had 1 week to prepare for that testimony. And if they had asked the question about any other group, I doubt she would have had the reluctance to answer the question that calling for the genocide of any group is a violation of the code of conduct.
Well, it's a good thing that they're pulling their money and they're feeling some of this pain. But let's be clear, these presidents are not apologizing because they've somehow found moral clarity on this issue. They're apologizing because they're losing these $100 million checks, and they're embarrassed about that part of it, not necessarily what they said. When they talk about the context, I'm trying to think about how they could get to these answers, all three of them having the same one, essentially.
Yes.
What is the context? Okay, so they're in this, they're paralyzed by the woke Olympics on campus. So the context to them in terms of the DEI Olympics here is that they would think, okay, who's making the claim? Is that person more oppressed than the person making the claim? Well, we don't think that Jews are as oppressed as the Palestinians. So if the Palestinians are making the claim in the hierarchy of wokeness and oppressive nature, then the context is such that it's okay to make calls for genocide because of this allegation that the people making the calls are being oppressed somehow, whether that's true or not. They can't just look at things in the sense of right and wrong. I think what we saw from these university presidents was one of the most horrific incidents that we've seen in the history of academia. It's an obvious answer, but because of the bubble they're living in on these college campuses and this hierarchy of who's going to be more oppressed than who based on skin color and experience, rather than just treating each other equally and judging each other on character, they've gotten themselves in this position, which, again, is not because they have found some answer. They had a PR firm reach out, read them a statement that they then tried to reread. And now they're saying that they're somehow sorry as their jobs are on the line.
Right. Pete, at Harvard, misgendering someone, fat phobia constitutes violence, according to their Title IX. But anti-Semitism requires context.
Yes.
Why?
Well, first of all, everything Katie said is right about the hierarchy of oppressor and oppressed. And that's the lens through which but at the same time, $100 million, that's a drop in the bucket for these institutions.
You're right.
It's got to reach 500, 600 million. We're doing a special on Fox Nation coming out next month called Poison Ivy about the intricate funding nature of these Ivy League schools. They're basically international hedge funds who also teach classes through a Marxist lens. So that's why they were so smug in front of this committee and unwilling to answer, because they're afraid of the students, if anything, and certainly not the donors, and they're wedded to one particular worldview. And then they want to hide behind free speech. Suddenly now, free speech is their mantra. Tell that to the conservatives and the Christians and the white kids and everybody else on campus who's been on the wrong side of that woke Olympics for the last, and so now we've gotten to the genocide of an entire people, which is as old as time, and they just want more context.
You know, there's a sound I'd like you to listen to, Harold, by I think it's Harvard president.
In that moment, I was focused on our university's longstanding policies aligned with the U.S. Constitution, which say that speech alone is not punishable. I was not focused on, but I should have been,
Okay, that's Penn's McGill, and she's saying the Constitution protected me.
So I'm a graduate of Penn, also undergrad, and I think it's simpler than, I don't know all about the woke Olympics. I'll leave that to you guys. What I know is if you can't condemn terrorism, if you can't identify that genocide of a population of people is something that you're not going to tolerate within the policies on your campus, particularly when it's already in the policies and that you have it in your rule book and policy book, you shouldn't be in that role. I hate to say this. The school has been embarrassed over the last several weeks. So many of my classmates, and I was one of the people that signed the very first letter weeks ago when President McGill did not respond to us about why you had Roger Waters, a guy who has spoken about Israel and about Jewish people, I think, in an awful way. They had him coming on the highest Jewish holiday, Yom Kippur. And the president didn't respond to any of us. There were many of us who were, I don't give $100 million to university, but I love my school. I'm proud of it. It helped make me who I am. And I try to send a few nickels back every year, but I joined the cause saying I would only send $1 until we had substantive change. She had an opportunity before a congressional committee to show a maturity, to show a sense of moral clarity. And she failed to do that. Whatever her motivation was coming back is up to her. What I know is I don't think she's fit to be the president of the school.
She isn't.
And it's unfortunate. But you have one job when you are the president of a university when it comes to promoting dynamic and enthusiastic and energetic conversations, even things I disagree with. You got to make it safe for kids to be able to share their views and for kids to learn. I'm against punishing kids. I saw some people, a friend of mine here said he was going to put the kids' names down and was not going to hire them. These are kids. Give people an opportunity for second chances. But the president of the school to go before a congressional committee and to not be able to condemn terrorism and genocide, you're not fit to be the president of that school.
Boom.
All right, Jimmy, wrap it up.
Rare agreement with Harold. They do have to fire her. She shouldn't get the grace of a resignation because there's certain questions you don't get a second crack at. Okay, if we're hiring a babysitter and we go, "You're going to keep the kids safe?" and they go, "No." Okay, if they call me back the next day and they go, "Actually, after reflecting on this, you're not hiring them." Okay, so all I want to say is I have never been prouder to have attended Nassau Community College and majored in Super Mario Brothers than I am right now watching these Ivy League dopes.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.